Today we're going to be answering the question that everyone seems to be asking. Are Tier 6 ritual sites actually worth it? To find out, I ran side-by-side comparisons of the exact same Broken Throne ritual site on both Tier 5 and Tier 6, multiple times across a variety of different classes. I used the same challenges whenever I could. Tier 5 only requires 4 challenges, so I used the Tendrils, Manifestation, Magical Alarm Bells, and Tainted Corpses. While Tier 6 requires 6 challenges, so for the first round of testing I added Reinforced and Patrols. I've always considered using the lowest spoils multiplier to be the gold standard because it makes each run as easy and consistent as possible. But what about the lower tiers? Most of your time isn't actually spent killing enemies, it's spent running through the dungeon from boss to boss. Because of that, the slightly faster clear times on lower tiers don't really make up for the reduced rewards. Now, this is all from the perspective of characters that are 280 plus IA level, aimed at farming myth crests, while also picking up field accolades and Void Maul for potential alts. If you're still gearing up, that's a different story. I'd recommend checking out my gearing guide, but the short version is farm tier 1 for champion crests and farm tier 4 or 5 for hero crests, depending on your eye level. For my testing, I followed almost the exact same route every run, avoiding as much unnecessary trash as possible. After multiple clears across several characters, my average clear time looked like this. Tier 5s, between 5 to 7 minutes, and Tier 6s, between 7 to 9 minutes. To calculate rewards per hour, I rounded consecutively, assuming every Tier 5 took 7 minutes, which works out to 8.5 runs per hour, and I rounded that down to 8 completed runs. For Tier 6, I assumed 9 minutes per run, which comes to around 6.6 runs per hour, and again rounded down to 6 completed runs. That gave me these hourly rewards. Tier 5s, 50 myth crests after conversion, 584 field accolades, and 1,728 Void Maul. And Tier 6 giving 50 myth crests after converting hero crests, 636 field accolades, and 1,920 Void Maul. So you end up with the exact same number of myth crests, but Tier 6 is noticeably harder because of the 2 extra challenges and the additional trash mobs they spawn. Based on that alone, I'd say Tier 5 is the better option. It's safer, there's less chance of accidental pulls or deaths, and you earn the exact same amount of myth crests per hour. But that got me thinking, why are Tier 6 actually taking those extra 2 to 3 minutes? It isn't the boss fights, they're only taking about 5 to 10 seconds longer to kill. The real time loss comes from dealing with all the extra trash created by Reinforce and Patrols. So I decided to test something different. Instead of using those 2 easier modules, I swapped them out for the harder options, Malevolent Boons and Embers. Those modifiers increase the difficulty without adding the extra trash packs. Previously, some classes could drag those additional mobs into the boss fight, while others had to stop and kill them separately, adding a lot of extra time each run. So once I removed the extra trash, my average Tier 6 clear time dropped to almost the exact same as my Tier 5. But now the rewards changed dramatically. Instead of earning around 50 myth crests per hour, I was getting closer to 75 myth crests per hour, while also earning even more field accolades and Void Maul thanks to the higher ritual spoils multiplier. So, are Tier 6 ritual sites worth it? Yes, but only under the right circumstances. They're significantly harder than your average Tier 5, and for the average player, I still don't think they're the better choice. Keep in mind that every character I tested on was at least full myth track, 6 out of 6 upgraded or higher, and I'd also consider myself above average mechanically. For most players, the increased chance of death and slower clear times will erase much of the extra reward. So unless you're specifically looking for a challenge or want to push yourself, I'd recommend sticking with Tier 5 for farming myth crests. There is one exception. Classes with stealth, or classes that can comfortably survive mass pulls and drag everything into the boss fights, can effectively ignore most of the downside of patrols and reinforced. And if you're playing one of those classes, then I'd recommend keeping those two easier modifiers instead of taking Malevolent Boons and Embers. At that point, Tier 6 plays very similar to Tier 5, while still giving you the extra rewards. That's all the information I got for you today. If you found this video helpful, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more WoW Midnight Guides. Let me know down in the comments, do you loot during your clears? I've always let the mailbox send everything to me, but I wonder if I'm missing stuff doing that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.